Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that Kathleen Kennedy has been the destroyer of the Star Wars franchise over the years. We saw what she did with the sequel trilogy, the Kenobi series, Boba Fett, and Mando Season 3, let alone everything that she did do to the overall structure of the books, the comics, etc., that really just do not honor the expanded universe. Now, we know that Kathleen Kennedy has all her eyes set on the Acolyte series and Skeleton Crew to really kind of reset many elements of George Lucas's Star Wars. Let's discuss. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy and the current status of Lucasfilm and how basically there's a lot of troublesome things that are actually being planned and mapped out by Kennedy herself to this very day. Now, we know that the Ahsoka series, there's a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of mixed reactions based on episodes 1 through 5. We have episode 6 up and coming for this upcoming Tuesday. But there's a lot of things happening with Kathleen Kennedy and what she recently had to say about her plans with the future of Star Wars and how she does have a concrete plan to quite literally dismantle George's philosophy and his outlook of what Star Wars really is and what it stands for. So let's get into exactly what Kennedy had to deliver essentially about what her plan is with Lucasfilm and Disney Star Wars and everything moving onwards. And it's not looking good, to be honest with you guys. So anyway, with Disney and Lucasfilm attempting to course-correct Star Wars with the latest Ahsoka series and the upcoming Acolyte show, one major development has to do with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy and how it involves the current state of the company. Now, Kennedy went on to deliver the following. We here at Lucasfilm felt it was necessary to focus on more all-female-led shows for our upcoming series. We secured this with Ahsoka, and we couldn't be more proud, and we are going to do it again in an even greater way with the Acolyte series, as we are working out a deal to turn that into a multi-season show, and to become our new flagship series for Disney Plus, hopefully in the future. We believe that equality, diversity, and inclusion needs to be our main focus for Star Wars from this point forward, since these have never, of course, been in existence in the Star Wars world for so many years, and it's time to make up for that loss. I am also happy to announce that we will be cherry-picking aspects from the Thrawn trilogy books and the story of Heir to the Empire, and we feel that Dave Filoni is going to do an excellent job with all of that. We felt that the Skywalkers were no longer necessary to be at the forefront, so we will all be doing a complete retelling of many expanded universe stories moving onwards, in order to detach ourselves from Lucas's vision and philosophy of Star Wars. Now guys, let me stop here. The fact that she wants and is aiming to make the Acolyte series the new flagship show over The Mandalorian, I feel is deeply concerning. We all have to remember who is running the show for the Acolyte. It's no other than Leslie Headland, the very individual that said, if you look up to George Lucas and expect him to be the key to Star Wars, then you're a misogynist, and that is the misogyny. She said that's the problem. Those are her literal words. And we know that the Acolyte is a woke mess. This is confirmed. Even Leslie Headland outright said that this is really going to have a lot of areas of diversity, equality, inclusion, etc., but we all know how hypocritical and flawed those agendas really are, because it's all forced nonsense. It takes away from the story, it takes away from the character development, and it's not just that, but we also know that Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland have an actual agenda to destroy George Lucas's Star Wars, and how it's going to have a deep impact not just on the expanded universe, but also on the canon materials, such as the prequel trilogy movies. So Kennedy is outright admitting that her overall plan is to now focus on all female-led shows to be the primary thing moving onwards, and how this is to make up for a loss of this never being a focus in the past for Star Wars. It just goes to show you that this is nothing more than an agenda-driven mess. And we're going to get into Ahsoka in just a second and how it's going to dishonor Luke Skywalker. So, Kathleen Kennedy had more to talk about, and it gets even more concerning about her view of what she wants to do to George Lucas's creations. So she goes on to elaborate, "We have great help with Dave, really setting our direction in place, and we couldn't be more proud of that as well. We are diverting from all of George's work and embracing a brand new direction, and we feel Star Wars is going to attract new fans. And with multiple galaxies now official in our storyline, we will be able to break the rules and traditions of Star Wars for the years to come, which will give us the freedom that we needed all along to expand past our initial barriers from George's narrow view of the franchise. We felt the greatest opportunity was to make Ahsoka the new Luke Skywalker, so to speak, in our new universe and direction for the franchise, and we will be retelling the old stories with her in different angles as well." So again, guys, what she's basically confirming is that all those expanded universe stories that you love and read about throughout the 90s and the 2000s, a lot of the Luke-focused stories in those books are going to basically be replaced with Ahsoka. And again, this is another thing that I don't like about Kathleen Kennedy's hidden agenda that's now outright and very vivid, and pretty much her admitting this, is that Ahsoka is basically being used as a way to kick down Luke and to replace him. That's basically what it boils down to. We all know that the Ahsoka series is going to end on a cliffhanger to essentially tease Dave Filoni's movie to continue the story of Heir to the Empire. Basically what's happening is that Ahsoka is going to be at the forefront of Dave's movie. This is something that Filoni talked about how he really wants to focus on her, Din Djarin, and all these different characters that will be a mashup style, an Avengers style in Star Wars. But he never talks about Luke, he never mentions Luke, neither does Kathleen Kennedy. They want nothing to do with him, but they are taking all the older concepts created by George and flip-flopping it to focus on more of the female-driven characters. That's basically what it's all boiling down to. And again, I'm all about powerful, female characters, but it never makes sense when it comes from Disney. They have a horrible track record. They're never going to create characters like Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, Atomic Blonde. I mean, there are endless examples that I root for that actually work, but when it comes to Disney, it never works. And when it comes to a lot of other Hollywood studios that have their woke agenda in mind, that never works either. We all saw, for example, what happened with Ghostbusters 2016. Prime example, and why they had to ditch that idea, and really, we got Ghostbusters Afterlife later on, and it worked. It worked very well. So overall, guys, I would really like to hear, what you all have to say about this entire scenario by Kathleen Kennedy and her aim to essentially take over the George Lucas stories and to focus more on all female-led shows moving onwards, and how The Acolyte is now being aimed to become the new flagship show as a multi-season series. So anyway, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.